Well, it's nice to see you again, Paula. And it's a kind of one of those mixed moment times, isn't it? Because we're meeting like this today because we're saying goodbye to you as you move on.
Sad face.
In 10 days' time, you due to start as I'm going to say a lay worker in the Benefice you're moving on to in preparation for a postponed ordination in September.
Yeah, not quite the way I'd envisaged, but there you go.
Absolutely not quite in the way that I envisaged as well. I had been expecting to have been with you in the cathedral in your ordination at the end of this month.
Yeah.
But that's been postponed to September. But I felt that whilst we couldn't meet together, I mean, our plan was that we would have a great celebration Benefice service with you preaching. We could all be physically together. And I know that I've asked you to preach on this coming Sunday for our audio service as that kind of final swan song, as it were. And you'd be part of the ministry team at Kingsdown and Creekside. But it'd be good just to share some of the journey that you've been on with everybody. And so it'd be great just to hear something about your Christian journey and how God has been calling you to this point as you move on into your new ministry.
Yeah, sure. I think the one word that would describe it is rapid. It's happened very quickly, and the actual journey to Christ has been a rapid one, and one that's been quite scary in places as well. You think, what is going on? You know, who is this God person? And I think, you know, having that sort of God moment, there was a sort of feeling where I knew it was God, but I couldn't actually say that this is God, you know, because I don't know God. How do I know that that's God? But I sort of knew that it was God calling me. And I suppose it's that obedience, once you get over the initial self-denial, as, you know, no, it can't be happening to me, you know, it's that can't be right. There's a real sense of obedience because it's so insistent. And I think if you do get that insistent call to go and do something, to be something, then you follow it. I think you have to. And no matter how much I put it out of my mind and tried to do other things, that's you know, that was a journey that was obviously destined for me.
You and me together, actually, and that in part of my history of doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting one, isn't it? But I think coming from not being a Christian at all to then, you know, sort of getting into having this moment at the back end of 2012 and then being confirmed in 2013, I thought that was quite rapid. And then as that year progressed, there were these other little callings that kept coming in saying, why don't you think about ordination and ordained ministry? And I was really embarrassed. I was totally embarrassed to even mention this to anybody, because you know, this, who does she think she is, this little upstart that's just come into the church? And there was a real feeling there for me that this is really embarrassing, but actually I need to say this to somebody. And I spoke to Richard about it, and he sort of said, yeah, I sort of knew that was coming, which was good. I like that.
Well, more than you knew that it was coming, but at least somebody did.
Yeah, that was a good one. So, you know, that's really the start of that journey, and actually, you know, sort of looking, confirmation 2013 started that discernment process early 2014. And so that's and it was a joy for me to be listened to as well, because I thought, you know, they're just going to laugh. I'm going to go to Canterbury Diocese, I'm going to tell them my story, and they're going to laugh at me and say, go away, spend a few more years doing something else, and then come back if that call was still there. But they didn't. And that was extremely encouraging, obviously.
Absolutely.
as part of that discernment. So yeah.
Great. Well, it's good to hear. And just to think about what it's been like as part of the ministry leadership team in Kingsdown and Creekside, and you've been obviously very much involved with St Margaret's Witcheling and developing ministry there. But actually, what's it been like being part of that team? And what would you like to say to us in Kingsdown and Creekside as you leave us, as it were?
Carry on. Keep going. I think it's been a joy actually to be part of that ministry leadership team and the wider church fellowship of the parish. And sometimes it's been sort of quite hard and quite challenging. Other times it's just been brilliant, and some of the things that have come from that have been really good. I feel that actually the team is it has been really cohesive, even though there's been a sort of sense of transience about it, with people coming, people leaving, and that's what this is about, isn't it? And it's my turn now to wave goodbye, and and somebody else will come along and do something else. And I think the team has been really good, and we've done a lot of stuff together. I think it would have been nice to have more opportunities to do things together as as that wider team. But I think actually what we've achieved, and especially I think recently, well, not recent, but in the past sort of year or so, where Richard's not been about, and we've taken on other responsibilities as well. I think everybody's just stepped up to the plate, and I think that's just such a joy to see and to be a part of. So it's a really what I'd call a sort of active ministry team. But I think we need space. I think there's space needed to hear what God is calling us to really be as a group. Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's one of the riches of ministry here, has been the ministry leadership team, and it's outstanding for me just to see how the ministry leadership team did step up when Richard left, as that was left us a huge gap in our ministry, and God's really blessed us through that team and being that team working together. And I can see that the idea of us doing more together and being together. And we need to see where God is leading us, especially after this time of reflection that we've had whilst our buildings have been shut all these weeks. That'll be good to sort of try and get people together again, and to see how this sort of lockdown period has actually worked out for them, because a lot of people we haven't seen. Some we have on sort of Bible study and things like that, but a lot we haven't been in contact with, and it'd be just good to catch up with people and see how this period has been for them. And maybe how God has called them within this time where we haven't been able to be physically together. Great. And as you are moving on, I always keep forgetting what churches are in your benefice and what the benefice is called, because I know it's Robersham and Tunstall, and then there's Bredgar and Milstead and Frinstead or wherever, but I always keep forgetting. But maybe you can tell us. But how would you like us to be praying for you and your family at this time?
I think foremost, I would like prayers for the family, because they have supported me through this whole crazy time, and it has been a fairly crazy time in a lot of ways, and they've just been brilliant. And they've got annoyed, they've got tetchy, as we all do, with mum being away. Oh, she's away again on another weekend doing training, or away again in another placement church. And that's been quite hard to deal with, on top of the sort of usual work that I do or had done. A sense that, oh well, mum's not going to be around this evening. She's doing X, Y, Z, whatever. So I think really prayer for them, for the support that they've already given me, even it's been tough for them, but also going forward, because you know, I'm quite aware that ministry has its own set of demands, and I'm sure that will also impact on them from time to time. And I think just prayer for them first.
Yep.
And I suppose secondly is prayer for the steering group I'm leaving behind, because Witchling's been a huge part of my calling, probably,
Yes.
if you really want to get down to it. And so it's how they go forward now, because it'll be different, but it's probably come at a fairly good time, because everywhere's going to be different, so everyone's going to be asking questions of what they do next. So it's not exclusively Witchling. So prayer for the steering group as well, and yes, please pray for me. And just that support, and you know, a sort of sense that whatever God is calling me to do, it'll be okay, because it's of God. And
Yes.
whatever challenges that brings, you know, God is there.
Great, thank you, Paul. And do be assured of our prayers. And as you go to start your ministry, but also in this strange time as well, which is a bit peculiar, but also at your ordination that's due to take place now in September. Be assured that we will be praying for your family, for Witchling, and for you.
Thank you.
And God bless you.
Thanks ever so much, Steve.